For the first time since an officer shot and killed Patrick Lyoya, we're hearing from a Grand Rapids City Commissioner on police reform. The topic has been back in the forefront since that deadly shooting 1 month ago tomorrow.
Only tonight, News 8's Whitney Burney is in studio with what the commissioner says the city has already done and what still needs to change.
Joe Jones serves as a commissioner in the city's 2nd Ward and has been the chair of the Public Safety Committee since the beginning of this year. He says to move the needle forward on police reform, it will take help from police officers, the union, and the policymakers. As tensions following the shooting of Patrick Lyoya continue to come to a head,
Patrick Lyoya!
Say his name!
Patrick! We are tired! Enough is enough!
We're going one-on-one with the chair of the Public Safety Committee.
I'm hurting not just for the family that is being that's impacted, but I'm hurting for my community. This is a city that I love, and we are now part of a national fraternity that no city wants to be a part of.
Joe Jones joined Grand Rapids City Commission back in 2016 after serving as the president of the Grand Rapids Urban League. One of the issues he says is most important to him is police reform.
We have to recognize the complexity and the need for this to be very much an all-hands-on-deck approach.
Something Jones says has not always been the case.
I have no doubt that ongoing progressive change in policing has been hindered by leadership within the police union. Not just here, but throughout the country.
In the last few years, the city has implemented several policies in an attempt to change policing in Grand Rapids, including introducing Cure Violence, a program that uses a public health model to prevent crime before it happens, developing the Office of Oversight and Public Accountability, and implementing the Honesty Hodges policy, which impacts the way police interact with minors. There are a lot of people who will say, okay, you've done all this, but this is still happening. Do you think it's enough, what you guys have done so far?
No, we have not. We have. There's so much more work to do, and for those in community who are quick to remind us of the work that needs to be done or the lack of work, I can receive that.
While the investigation into the Lyoya shooting is still ongoing, and GRPD says it's too early to say how it will change their policies, Chief Eric Winstrom has repeatedly said he's reform-minded.
My goal is to have the Grand Rapids Police Department to be kind of the gold standard in policing, for people to look to us, our policies and procedures and training, and say that's what we aspire to.
Winstrom agrees cooperation from all moving parts is essential to moving police reform forward, but says he hasn't sensed resistance from officers or the union. He says right now he's focusing on listening to what the community says they want out of their department.
This defund the police call that was going on, abolish the police, and I thought maybe that was going to come back in my time here. I haven't heard that at all. What I have heard from the community, and since Mr. Lyoya was tragically killed, I have been to dozens of community meetings, and I would say everyone, community wants better policing, but they want to see the police officers. They want to know the police officers by name. They want that neighborhood policing initiative in effect.
Commissioner Jones says he doesn't know what lies ahead, but he's committed to working toward a better tomorrow every day.
There is only so much that the city of Grand Rapids can do in terms of reform. There are some things that require a change in state law. There are some things that require movement from the federal level, right? And I think quite often the assumption is, well, we can just push a button at 300 Monroe, when in fact, we've been pushing buttons. We will continue to push buttons because we want a city in which everyone feels safe.
We did reach out to the Grand Rapids Police Union for a response, but they declined our request for an interview. The Kent County prosecutor said today there's still no timeline on when the Lyoya investigation will come to a close. Live here in studio, Whitney Burney, News 8.